As evening came, I was returning to my room after having finished organizing the medicine as was asked of me by Yamazaki. Normally around this time one could hear the warriors talking amongst one another happily from the common room. But now that there weren't as many warriors left, the compounds were much quieter. Just then. Huh? I thought I saw a shadow at the end of the hallway and I squinted to get a better look. Oh. Still here, eh? Is that Takeda? I'm loving this route for one giant reason of Takeda's got so much more screen time, and I love it. He said he was leaving the compounds today. Was he still here? Did he forget something? He was sort of acting suspicious. Takeda seemed to be scanning around, peeking over his shoulder as he tiptoed to make sure his footsteps weren't being heard. His behavior had been very peculiar, if not outright conspicuous, so I hid in the shadows and watched him. He was heading towards the very back of the compounds. Takeda did one final glance to ensure no one had been watching him, and then he disappeared into the room. It was the room in which Sanan performed his research over the Furies in the Water of Life. Only a select few of the Shinsengumi had known about what went on in that room. Takeda, of course, was not one of those select few, so technically he wasn't permitted to be in there. But why? I gulped, and I moved to the front of the room. I cracked the door open just a hair and peered in. We should have got somebody, girl. Another new room I've never seen before. Not even one on Sanan's route. Ah, the laboratory of a mad scientist. Since the sun hadn't completely set yet, I didn't see Sanan in the room. I had assumed then he was resting in another. From what I could make out, however, Takeda had been ruffling through drawers and reading documents spread across the room. He's been very busy. After searching for a while, he had taken a few of the documents and folded them to place inside his kimono.
I would say this is enough to cover my reward.
Your reward, eh? He grinned with satisfaction. Then he turned to slowly walk in my direction. Oh no. I didn't think this through. Shoot, I must hide. I rushed away from the door. Takeda sped out of the room, rushing as if he was trying to make sure he wasn't seen, and then he tried to leave the compounds. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't, like... Whoops. Hello? No, go back. There we go. I'm like, what's the button again? Okay. Suddenly... Ah, Inoue.
Hello, Takeda. Were you just leaving now?
Inoue approached him, and I could see them exchange a few words. Eventually, they ended their conversation, and Takeda bowed to Inoue before leaving. I knew something wasn't right, so I rushed over to Inoue. Inoue, what were you just talking about with Takeda just now?
I was just saying goodbye to him. What's wrong?
You see... He snitched some things. And I told Inoue what I had just witnessed.
Is all of what you told me true? What was he trying to do?
I don't know. However, I think we should run after him and find out what he took. Inoue gave me a grim look.
I want to, but... Unfortunately, I twisted my ankle while attending to my rounds earlier.
Your ankle? Oh no. It didn't sound like we would have been able to tail Takeda given Inoue's condition.
We need to tell Toshi what just happened when he returns, and have him deal with it.
I guess that's the only way left, but... All of the warriors had been out at the moment, and I didn't know when they would return. I had known that there were numerous other responsibilities, and that it would be hard to get many people on board to follow after him. Besides, I was sure that Takeda was on high alert for people coming after him, so... I could see him being able to leave Kyoto in time before we could deal with them. So all I could do for now was... In a way, please let the captains know as soon as they return that I'll be running after Takeda to take care of an important matter.
Yukimura?
Inoue was confused, but before he could ask, please, I promise I'll return. With that said, I ran out of the compounds. Really? Like, not even the watch is around? Sanan's gonna wake up soon. No, none of this? Alright, well, we spy him now. I think he walked this direction. As the hues of the night sky were growing darker, it was becoming more difficult to distinguish the faces of those passing by. I was growing worried that I may lose him completely. But it'll be alright. He had literally just left the compound, so I was sure he couldn't have gotten too far away. Or at least this is what I had been telling myself as I began my chase. I like that literally yesterday or 2 days ago she was like, crap, I've been separated, they're going to kill me for running away. Next day, literally runs away. Doesn't worry about it. Eventually. Oh! I finally caught sight of him and I began running after him. Why are you confronting him? We're dead. Girl, I'm so frustrated with you. This fruit. Insert other word. Takeda, please, wait! He didn't stop. Rather, he'd started to jog, moving more quickly. There was no way he couldn't have heard me. I was starting to lose my breath, but I continued running after him. Wow, we're getting all the new scenery. When he had finally stopped running, he had been approaching a bridge where I noticed there weren't too many other people around.
Couldn't help but notice you rush after me. I'm going to assume this isn't a normal farewell.
It seemed like he was under the impression that if we were to speak alone, he would be able to get out of it, so he spoke pompously. That or he's just gonna kill you and throw you into the river. Well, I had become winded from all the running, so my throat burned, and I couldn't string words together well enough to speak. However, Takeda didn't seem to notice a thing, and he walked towards me.
Or was there something you wanted to ask me?
Ask. Instinctively, I started to back up, but he was closing the distance between us.
Stop playing dumb. The Shinsengumi is keeping secrets from everyone, even the captains. And you know that secret. Isn't that right?
His glare locked with my eyes, and my entire body had started to freeze up. No. I couldn't let him read into my panic. I was doing my best to steady my resolve, and I suppressed my quivering voice. It's not like that. Takeda looked as if he couldn't be convinced, and he continued moving closer to me.
There's no point in playing dumb. You are completely useless as a swordsman, and yet you've been appointed to a prestigious position beyond anything you're qualified for. Not only that, but... Ryojin Matsumoto, was it? When that doctor visited the compound, he and you shared some peculiar conversations. You definitely know something.
Takeda's face was probing me to see if I'd break, and for a second I was almost unable to say anything, but... I have no idea what you're talking about. I turned to face away from him as I said that.
I see. You're playing dumb yet again. Then have you seen these before?
Takeda spoke with scorn as he reached into his pocket to grab something. Oh, he actually took some serum. Wow, not just documents. It was the red liquid in the glass vial. Yep. I gasped, and Takeda smirked as if he'd won.
So you do know. You know what the serum is.
So Takeda did take something from Sanan's room earlier, and now it was right in front of me.
If I bring this to the Ito faction, there's no way they'll disrespect me like all of you have. Answer me, Yukimura. What is this stuff?
Oh my god. Look, even if it's destroyed in the struggle, I gotta try and take it back. I can't just be quiet about it. I can't believe you've become my, like, the guy I'm up against. You and I have a personal feud going on, Takeda. Okay. Smash it!
Although this document didn't go very much into details, it did make mention of creatures whose vitality surpassed that of a human's.
I tensed up under Takeda's scrutinizing gaze in guarded hostility.
If any of that were true, then I'm sure there are many people who'd be interested in it, including both Shogunate and the Satsuma Choshu's side.
I thought you had joined the Shinsengumi because you wanted to protect the Shogunate.
It doesn't matter. I'm going to use whatever's in this bottle and sell it to whoever's going to pay me most.
That's when it became clear to me. I can't let this man take possession of the water of life. With this in mind, I used this moment of distraction while he was in the middle of his monologue. I took out my Kodachi and I charged at Takeda. Oh snap. He's like, what?
What the?
Takeda tried to parry my strike, but my movements were just a hair faster. I suppose he didn't think I'd attack him. I just thought you were gonna, like, grab for the vial and struggle with it. My swing had just barely grazed over the chest of his kimono. Wow, you went for that, eh? You went right for the heart.
Damn, how dare you!
He had become visibly frustrated by this, and he swung his sword up to slash downwards. I watched as a blinding flash of light reflected from his blade, and it was swinging down towards me. Ah! Alright. Well, you guys are finally having your duel. I tried to block it, but my arm was gashed open, and blood spurted over the both of us. Takeda stood above me, wearing a sadistic expression as he smirked gleefully. The gash she'd just inflicted was, slowly but surely, beginning to heal itself already. His face froze in surprise.
What the hell? Your arm. I know that I just cut you. I see. So you're one of those Furies, or whatever they were called in those papers.
No, I'm... He had no intent on listening to me, however, and he grabbed my sleeves and yanked me forward. Yeah, having a live specimen to prove it is even more valuable, I guess.
Oh yes, this is good. If I show others your healing ability, there will be no one who could doubt the existence of the Furies. Come with me. I'm going to use you to make a name for myself.
No! I attempted to get away by pushing his hands, but then... I'm like, eventually Eva's gonna just show up because he has to.
Stop it! What are you doing?
That voice. Eva! What are you doing here?
I visited the compounds earlier and Inoue told me the situation.
Takeda, upon the sight of Eva, looked almost deflated, but his petulance grew once more.
Not you again. You like being a killjoy, don't you?
Let go of her now, or else.
Or else what?
Her? He didn't pick up on that.
I'll do this!
Eva unsheathed his sword with lightning speed, and he charged towards Takeda. Takeda saw Eva's attack, and he parried it before the two began dueling in front of me. Their blades clashed, each swing met with a sizable force powered by seething anger. Few more slashes were sent relentlessly.
God damn you!
Since Eva's skill was far above the level of Takeda's pedigree, the latter started looking out of breath as he was put into a corner. Eventually, Eva grabbed my arms and pushed me behind him to protect me from the fray. After peeking behind Eva, Takeda smirked.
Chizuru Yukimura. I heard there was a secret behind why they kept you around, but it's because of your powers, huh?
And what is the secret you're talking about?
Having the power to heal your wounds almost immediately. Ito was talking to me about this before, saying that the Shinsengumi holds a big secret. I'm sure it all has to do with the research being done in that musty room, right?
Neither Iba nor I answered him, but it seemed like Takeda was already sure of it. He continued to talk without waiting, or even caring for that matter, about our responses.
So, at this rate, the rumors of Sanon being still alive must be true as well. So what's up with this Shinsengumi? What are they hiding?
Iba seemed unfazed as he responded.
You love to let that imagination run wild, don't you? It suits you more to author cheap pamphlet literature than to be a swordsman.
You have no intention of admitting the truth, then? Very well.
He then pointed his katana towards me and he asked Iba a question. So you're aware she's a lady? Huh. Alright, when did you figure that out?
Hachiro, Iba, why are you protecting her? She's a monster.
Iba's eyes thinned with contempt.
Shut up.
I speak the truth. She's a monster. Just look at her. The wound I inflicted on her arm just a second ago is already healing up.
Shut up!
Oh, did you not know? Then I'll show you. See for yourself.
Then Takeda swung his sword again. No! I screamed, but it wasn't Iba that Takeda was swinging towards.
Chizuru!
I heard Iba's screams and the sound of flesh being split apart. Blood had splattered over all of us, and suddenly everything went black. Had Iba been hurt? I didn't want to believe it. I slowly cracked my eyes open. What is this picture? What's going on? In front of me was Iba. He stood upright with eyes bearing an expression of fury and rage unlike anything I'd ever seen. Dark crimson blood was dripping from his sword, and next to his feet was a detached right arm clutching a blade. Oh snap, he disarmed him. Literally.
What the?
Even after seeing it in front of me, my brain was having trouble processing what I was looking at.
I won't allow you to harm her any further.
I sensed what seemed like a near murderous conviction throughout Iba's aura. It wasn't the Iba I had come to know.
Do you still want to fight, Kanryusai Takeda? It will be more than your right arm next time.
You bastard!
Takeda was drenched in the blood spurting from where his right forearm used to be. He looked like an Oni. Straight from hell.
Never before have I swung my sword with the intent to kill someone, but... if it's you, I wouldn't have to think twice.
Iba's eyes burned with righteousness, and he kept his blade pointed towards Takeda, who trembled from the loss of his limb and his pride.
Gah.
Takeda gritted his teeth and slowly backed off. He put his remaining left hand into his chest pocket. I was wondering, can you regrow a limb from the serum?
The serum. If I drink it, this injury will be nothing.
As he spoke, the bottle of the water of life fell to the floor along with the documents he'd stolen.
No! The serum! The serum!
He tried to bend down and pick up the bottle, but he slipped.
Ah!
Takeda! I was about to run up to help him, but Iba grabbed my arm as he scurried away indignantly.
It's better if you don't get too involved. He won't last very long in his condition. It seems like the documents and potions he stole are safe and sound, though.
With shaky fingers, I picked the items up and finally was able to breathe. So we just left him to drown or die of blood loss? Poor Takeda. I mean, he did try to kill us, but still. Eeh.
Are you alright? I'm sure that was a little frightening. How is your injury? Let me see it.
I couldn't bear to look at him, and I pulled away my arm to prevent him from seeing it.
Chizuru?
There was no way I could look into his eyes, so I kept facing downwards. It's fine. My injury already healed. There's no reason for you to be worried. I didn't want to say it, but just as he said, I'm a monster. I just couldn't say the last part. I felt myself choke.
I already know. About your powers, that is.
He told you this months ago! Good grief. Suddenly, my eyes widened from hearing him. I looked up. There stood Iba, wearing the same kind smile that hadn't changed since we were children.
You may not remember this, but when we were little, you showed this to me. How your scars healed. Remember? I made you promise me. This power of yours was our little secret, and we made a promise to never show anyone.
Oh. With his flashback, the memories that were once dim and stored in some corner of my mind became vibrantly lit once more. That's right! Don't say that's right, you're gonna forget again in 3 months. When I was a little girl, I made a promise. One I couldn't tell to any of my other friends. But if it was with him, if it was with Hachiro, I knew he was special. I knew I could tell him anything.
You're not a monster. You're just you, and you are who I want to protect. You've always been, and always will be.
Iba. I felt a pang of nostalgia, and at the same time I felt emotional knowing that I had forgotten about him this whole time. I'm so sorry.
Why are you apologizing?
Because you remembered me after all of these years, and I... Iba lightly touched my hair.
It's fine. You remembered now.
His words radiated with warmth, and his kindness made my heart swell. I noticed that as he ran his fingers through my hair, they trembled a bit. Iba? I looked up at him, and he bit his lip a little.
Okita may have said that my sword was a lifeless one, but this was the first time I'd ever had trouble controlling myself when holding a sword. Ever since Toshi and the men came to Kyoto, this is what they must have felt. To protect someone or something isn't all. There is a flip side to it. A grim reality.
I couldn't say anything, so I just hung my head. The person who had brought this realization to Iba was no one else but me. It was my fault. I don't want you to do anything dangerous. I knew that, to a warrior, these words were as good as dirt. During the Ikeda Inn incident, the Hamaguri Rebellion, or any other time where the warriors had crossed swords with the demons, I had felt this way during all of those battles, but this time it hit me a little differently. After a moment of silence, Iba spoke up.
I want to make all of your wishes come true, but this is one thing that I cannot promise.
I had a feeling he would say that.
All my life, I realized that I learned the way of the sword so I can protect those dear to me. So, if it means I must hurt others, or even take someone's life, I won't regret it.
I knew he'd say that too, but even then, you couldn't blame me for making this wish. Please, don't ever let Iba be hurt in battle. Just then...
Hey, Hachiro, Chizuru, you guys alright? I've come to rescue you guys.
Thanks, Shin. I heard the footsteps of the warriors approaching from afar.
Why don't we head back to the compounds for now? We have to tell Toshi what happened anyways.
Right. After we told our story, the men of the Shinsengumi went searching for Takeda, but unfortunately there were no useful hints. He could have drifted off somewhere along the river, or died due to his injury. Or he could have left Kyoto altogether. We couldn't let our guard down, but now that he had one arm, he wouldn't be able to hold his sword. The Shinsengumi concluded that even if he were alive, he would never try to get revenge on the Shinsengumi, so they stopped their search for him. Maybe. Although it wouldn't surprise me if he showed up later, or even in the second game. That would be so wild. I've taught myself to wield my sword with my other hand. Could happen. July 1867. 3 months had passed since Ito had left the Shinsengumi, taking his men and others with him. Is this Sen coming to visit? It is. I thought it was quiet. Okay. So Takeda did... I wonder... Because, well, Ito... Excuse me, I don't know why my voice is just breaking. Hold on a second. I was gonna say, I wondered if Takeda had stolen that stuff and gotten away with it before on the other routes. But Ito did know about the Furies because he saw it and had everything explained to him when the big split happened, so... Takeda didn't necessarily get away with stealing stuff, but maybe he did. That'd be interesting. You don't actually see Takeda again after this, so I wonder what happened to him. Alright. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, we're having our girl talk. Do you have anything else to shed a light on? What do I say? Okay, I still answer yes, even though Hachiro is not technically part of this crew. Oops, that's not at all what I wanted to do. Oh no, I gotta... There we go. Wrong button in my excitement. Okay, so I guess the demons have to come and cause a ruckus again. So what am I doing with that? Hachiro had to come and save me yet again. Okay, I need to go find the others. This time around. Shimada will last a little bit longer. And there he goes. My demon boy. Yeah, you don't even know anything. The other one's probably for affection for him. That'll be interesting. Alright, so you guys have come to save me. And I need to trust the Shinsengumi. We're just getting Harada saying maybe? It's quite possible. I'm okay with Sano saving us again. He's the most comforting out of everybody because he pats her head afterwards. Whoosh! Maybe Eva's actually going to stay out of it for once. That's okay with me. Doesn't have to be the hero all the time. Aw, thanks for the head pat, Sano. I appreciate it. I'm actually kind of shocked Hachiro didn't show up. He showed up like every other time I wasn't expecting it. But that's okay. So we're gonna move now. I wonder when the next scene will be. Okay, not now. I'm trying to remember if the assassination of Ito is at the end of this. I think it is the end of this chapter. Pretty sure. Because then chapter 5 is its own thing. With the whole Satsuma Choshu war and all that stuff. Oh. I think we're getting a new scene again. November 1867. We had reached the halfway point in the month, and the weather was growing increasingly harsh as the chill became more frequent. Dusk had come after a short blustery day. Iba and Motoyama were visiting the compounds. Uh-huh. I've poured some tea for everyone. I tried my best to act with decorum as I handed each person their tea.
My, this place is rather large. It's quite a departure from the first headquarters you all used. But I suppose it's not a surprise to see from you, Toshi. How were you able to negotiate such a deal with the Nishihangwanji Temple to leave them?
Hey, you're making me sound like a con artist. It's simple. They made an offer and we took it.
Iba and Hijikata both smiled as they spoke. They looked like they were enjoying themselves. Meanwhile... Here you go. I placed a cup of tea in front of Motoyama and he jumped slightly.
Thank you. This tea looks delicious.
It always seemed like Motoyama acted a little sheepishly, but he managed to smile through it.
So, to what pleasure do we owe your company, Iba?
Iba daintily dabbed a napkin on his lips, and then he spoke quietly.
You see, we have received reports of some Kyoto guards acting belligerently as of late. I'd hoped to gather more information if you'd heard anything.
Kondo and Hijikata looked at one another, both wearing a bitter expression. Then they both sighed heavily.
Do you know of Ryoma Sakamoto from Tosa?
Iba nodded. Supposedly, Sakamoto was a charismatic influencer who was active with domains in the western region. The rumors about him even said that he was able to unite the Satsuma and Choshu together. And just recently, allegedly, he has played a large role in restoring imperial rule through the Tosa.
From what we can see, he is a person for whom we have a great interest in apprehending, but it's not that easy.
With regards to Sakamoto, the Shinsengumi men had been pursuing him for a while now. However, due to certain political pressures, he was considered untouchable in various parts of Japan.
However, it seems as though we aren't the only ones interested in Sakamoto.
Right.
He made fools out of the Mimawari Gumi in their last arrest attempt, so I hear they really have it out for him.
I see. Perhaps that is why the Mimawari Gumi have been looking rather depleted. He must be quite the popular man.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this guy knows what he's doing or is just a lucky punk, but Sakamoto is doing a number on the shogunate. He probably won't stop at what he's doing until someone sticks a sword into his gut.
Iba fell silent, concentrating deeply, and then he turned to face Hijikata.
Toshi, if you ever learn of Sakamoto's whereabouts, I ask that you alert me with haste. If he is assassinated, there will be civil unrest. Of that, I am sure. Even if the Shinsengumi were to warn him, I'm sure he wouldn't listen, so I will do my best to warn him.
Hijikata continued.
You got a point.
Eventually, Hijikata stood up and he nodded towards Iba and Motoyama.
Alright, follow me. I have an idea of where he could be.
Really? I wonder if they'll save him this time around.
Alright.
Okay. They all stood, Motoyama rushing to get up, and they left the common room. I had hoped everything would be okay. I was putting away the cups as I turned these thoughts over in my mind. Oh. I had noticed a bag left where Motoyama was sitting. Kondo? Look at this.
Did Motoyama leave this behind? If I'm not mistaken, he's just around the gate, so why don't you take it to him?
Alright. I rushed and followed in the direction Hijikata went.